It didn't take long for all 317 survivors to hear about Tashon's ability, or to some alleged ability, to see the fourth dimension around them. To see, as if from his own personal mind drone, a view of what was going on around him from the fourth, while also seeing the world the traditional way, with his eyes. Tashon wasn't sure how the news spread so quickly. It seemed the human tendency to share news that was not one's own hadn't ended. It had been 1 week since they sent Aleron and his monster back to the fourth. But Tashon was still being pulled aside by those who had lost someone in the terror, asking him if he could talk to their late husbands, or brothers, or girlfriends. He was standing in the shade of a flowering tree. When they had first arrived, the trees had been adorned with large yellow leaves. Those leaves now layered the ground, and had been replaced by dark red flowers that roughly resembled the shape of a human heart. The veins that ran up and down just under the bark had turned into more of a pinkish red. Thin clouds hovered in the sky, scattering the red rays of the rising sun into beams that shot off to the horizon. Since Alerons' eviction, the forest had come alive with small creatures. White worms wriggled in the soil near the base of the trees, some with 2 rear legs that allowed them to stand and lift their bodies vertically into the air. Little 6-legged furry animals, whose shape resembled that of a lizard. Dozens of insects, each similar yet different than those found on Earth. And Tashon's favorite, the moths. Using his fourth sight, he saw someone walking through the trees toward him. He watched the middle-aged woman step lightly, her hand brushing against each tree as she passed. He also saw himself from the side, the tree behind him casting his face in the shadow. He now always saw himself in the third person, while simultaneously seeing everything through his natural eyes. The first few days it had been dizzying, but he was getting used to it. And, as always, Laos, the man Tashon had killed, floated just above him in his fourth-dimensional form. A glowing gray that often shone closer to a pure white than not, with a human form that was to Tashon what Tashon was to a 2-dimensional rendering of a human. Laos did not haunt Tashon. He had grown to be more of a comforting presence. The woman came into the peripheral of his human sight. He turned, smiling, and then nodded to her.